Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is December 26th, the day after Christmas. Today's dose of insight by Sadhguru read Life and death are like inhalation and exhalation, they always exist together. So, that is very deep and profound. It had a little bit of really having to dig deep to translate this one into Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence, as you can imagine. However, through my reflection as well as other sources that just popped up, call it universal consciousness, call it coincidence, I could really crystallize this insight. So let's dive in. And I've taken a few notes on this one versus the usual that I just rattle off things based on memory. For this, the first thing that struck me is this really represents the cyclical nature of everything in universe, and that goes to continuity in wisdom-led operating. That is what continuity is about: sustainable, regenerative process. And through my own lived experience of having suffered a stroke, which left me in a state where I could not even walk, to the point where I am today, where I am fitter than I have ever been in my life. And that's an example, lived experience for me in terms of the cyclical nature of everything in life. And there are some things within us that are dying, other things are constantly getting recreated. And a way, as I was synthesizing this view, something very, call it coincidence, that happened. One of my friends, Jyoti, shared this article by John Gardner, which is a speech that he gave to McKinsey and Company back in 1990. That entire article, and I'll share the link to the article in the notes, is about self-renewal. And I won't do justice to covering any bits or pieces of that article, so I highly encourage you to read it. The article is about the value of constant learning and growth and self-renewal that each one of us can benefit from by engaging in this as a lifelong journey. It doesn't stop with a particular attainment of a goal or at any particular stage of your life. It's a constant learning cycle. That's the gist of the article. The second point is related to what I've been engaged in with Claude in terms of the pressure testing scenario. So 2 days back, I had shared this insight that creating the inner climate is fully your choice. And my pressure testing brainstorming partner, Claude, rightfully said that what about people who have some chronic illnesses or a neurodivergence issue where there is a biological issue? Can they still create the inner climate fully out of their choice? And it then raised the question, and as it analyzed what I was trying to say, it said that I think you believe in the option where, yes, it is a choice within the limits of what your physical condition is. And I agree with that. That's kind of what I was also trying to imply towards. At the same time, through my own lived experience, as well as I've had the opportunity to come across the serial entrepreneur and business alchemist Rajesh Sethi, who's founded multiple startups. And his journey is very inspirational. He's written 19 books. He regularly posts the various social media platforms, has a huge following. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And at that point, the realization set in on him that things that he was doing very well earlier, and he was hustling and doing things with the speed, is no longer going to work for him. However, since then, he has turned the slowing down into his superpower. He's come up with books, a series called Napkin Insights. He's a very well-known business alchemist, and he's turned a handicap into his superpower. So that is what I was trying to say when I meant that creating the right inner climate is our choice. Yes, within the confines of whatever cards each one of us has been dealt. And another point that my pressure testing brainstorming partner Claude raised about the race to conscious grid scenario, and this goes back to the point about everything in life being cyclical in nature. It raised the point that isn't the race scenario that right now the world seems to be on the path towards, isn't that a product of consciousness also, in a way, if everything is the product of universal consciousness? And I agree, and it itself said that while the conscious grid scenario makes a lot of sense as the long-term scenario where it would all settle down, but maybe we need the race scenario to get painful enough that humanity wakes up. Those were its words. That's the analysis it came up with. Again, I do agree with that. I have also thought about this. I am on this path to model the scenario from race to conscious grid. I can see it clearly that if we enough of conscious leaders engage in this journey from intelligence to consciousness, and we lead AI with conscious human intellect, the future is going to be amazing. It is going to create abundance for everybody, and AI and tech would become a shared utility. However, that may not happen as a linear path. It may actually get worse before it gets better. And that is maybe how the universal consciousness algorithm is working. Each one of us has a part to play in that, and whatever you get called for, as long as you're operating by through pure presence and awareness, whatever you feel are the choices that you need to make based on pure alignment, that's the choice you should make. Hope that makes sense. So with that, today's dose of Rashmi is: wisdom is becoming aware of the cyclical nature of everything in the universe and guiding your intelligence beyond the fears associated with mortality. Thank you.